continues. The winningest driver in IMSA history, doing it once again, Bill Auberlen.
Add to the number, change the record books again one more time. Might it lead to a championship again this season? Number 64 for Bill Auberlen and the Turner BMW.
An absolutely magical moment, of course, in IMSA history and for one Bill Auberlen. Welcome, everybody, to the Full Throttle Show, powered by Race for RP. And it's an absolute delight to welcome in that very driver who has since gone on and added his 65th win and continues to expand on his own record. It's a pleasure to be with Bill Auberlen. Bill, welcome to Full Throttle, powered by Race for RP. And great to have you with us. And I got to say, I've been, I think, along for your ride in a lot of ways, calling an awful lot of what happened with you. Because I started doing a little bit of announcing with the original IMSA when you were racing back then. And first of all, it's just been an amazing journey for you and for all of us who are huge fans of yours to watch where you've gone. So thanks so much for joining us on the show.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. That was exciting, actually. That day was exciting. Just want you to know, I'm a bigger fan of yours than you could ever imagine. I have listened to your voice year after year, and it's incredible. And it actually elevates the race just to hear you calling it.
Well, thanks very much. And I know we've had some great interviews in the past, lots of fun. I remember one of the interviews where it was a hot day out in Vegas and you did a helmet switch, and you did an absolutely fabulous interview, and we've had a lot of fun over the years. But one of the things that I wanted to just get to was when you broke Pruett's record at 60 and you got your 61st, it had to be a big moment. But before we talk to you about it, we just want to take a look back at your reaction when you got out of the car.
The pleasure of driving these cars is all you think about, and all of a sudden later in your career you see it's a possibility, and you got to thank guys like, hi to my family at home, Scott Pruetts, for setting the bar so high. You have to appreciate what he's done. He's an amazing guy. For me to be near him is incredible. Thank you to my Turner guys for giving me this M6 GT3. It's been an amazing career. I'm so happy for everybody that's been with me. I owe a thanks to all of them.
Pretty special moment indeed. When you had that realization, maybe even during the race, when, hey, if nothing happens here, I'm going to break this record. What was going through your mind? That had to be just magic.
Well, up until that point, I didn't even know that there was a record on the books to be had. And then some fan came to me and said, hey, do you know you're about to break Scott Pruett's record? And then it became all I focused on and all the team focused on. And we kind of, with that, got a little sidetracked. And it didn't work out as well. And pretty soon, Will Turner came up to me and he goes, look, let's forget about the wins. Let's do what we always used to do. Let's just go for the finishes, the points, and do the best job we can, and the wins will come. And once we got our heads sort of off of that, it sort of came to us. And then with VIR, that victory, it was like a massive load lifted off my shoulders. You could race free again now. But holy cow, what an emotional moment. I mean, look back. I've been a small part of IMSA history, but when you look back at the names that have come through there, it is amazing to be anywhere near those names, to be amongst them like I am, and after all these years, to actually be on the top. It was it's a humbling, super humbling experience. To watch that interview, I know I talked about my mom right after that a little bit, and it was very emotional, just wanting her to be a part of it, and she wasn't, and it was kind of sad. Still is.
Yeah, well, there are those parts of the sport that just tug at the old heartstrings. There's no question about that, and a really special moment for you. But one of the things I wanted to go back. You were kind enough to provide us with some pictures, and I want to put one up from real early in your career. And it looks like you actually started on two wheels.
I started on two wheels. I wanted to be anywhere my dad was. My dad was an immigrant from Germany, and it was his dream to take part in the American dream. Anything was possible in his mind. So he started racing motorcycles in the desert. I just wanted to be with him, so I started racing motorcycles. That was me. It looks like on my 84 YZ80. So back in 84, I have no idea how old I was, but I remember that bike. That was my number. It was cool. Won a lot of races. Actually won some championships. I went until I turned about 16, 17. And then my dad by then was racing cars. Again, I wanted to be anywhere he was. When I turned 15, I started driving the truck on a learner's permit around the country for my dad. Hold on, something just popped up on our screen here. So I can't. There we go. We're back. I wanted to be anywhere he was. So we transitioned from motorcycles to cars, and it was all because of my dad, just being where he wanted to be. But the motorcycle thing was cool and winning, and eventually I made it to 125 Pro at the end of my career. But as soon as I sat in a car for the first time, sometimes in life you wonder, am I doing what I am made to do? And you never, how do you know? You could have been a doctor or a crane operator, and you just don't know. I'm just giving you examples. The moment I sat in that race car, I'm like, holy cow, this is exactly what I was designed to do for the rest of my life. And it worked out pretty good.
I'll say, yeah, you seem to have proven that one out just a little bit. Now, when you made that switch, eventually you ended up running in the original iteration of IMSA back in the GTP, GT S and GTU era. And I got a piece of video here that you may actually not have seen from what I'm told. And so I'm interested to get your reaction. But we've heard rumors about how you ended up going from being an independent runner, which I want to talk to you about a little bit here, to becoming a BMW guy. And watch this.
Tom Milner and I were standing in the pit lane in New Orleans, and we ran a race around the Superdome on city streets. And we were just getting things together. We had John Paul Jr., we had Pete Halsmer, we had some very big drivers. And out comes a privately entered Mazda RX-7. And we had John Paul Jr. sitting up on jack stands at the end of the pit lane. We just took the pole. 10 minutes left in qualifying, and this blue Mazda comes out and takes the pole away from us. And we hear the PA say, new pole, lap record, ba, 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 ba. And we thought, okay, drop JP, send him out again. We took the pole back in 2 minutes. Prop him up, we're waiting for the time to expire. And this Mazda went out and took it back from us again. And we said, who is this kid? Who is this Bill Auberlen kid? We had never heard of him. He was running the car with his father privately from California. And he goes out again and tries to qualify against us and crashes the car incredibly. And I see the car up on the barrier like a bent beer can at the end of the straightaway. And I think, okay, that's the end of that. We're good. And he runs down the pit lane. And Charlie Slater was a businessman from Florida who owned IMSA at the time. He said, Bill, jump in my 911. You've driven it before. Take it. Bill jumps in the 911 that he hadn't been in all weekend and takes the pole away from us again. And I said to Tom Milner, I said, we're having dinner with this kid tonight, and he is driving for us next season. And that was the story, no exaggeration, about how Bill Auberlen became a BMW driver.
And I remember talking to Tom Milner at one point, and I asked him, how did that happen for you? And he said, well, you know, he modified the old adage. He said, if you can't beat them, hire them. You're just one of the most enthusiastic, fun interviews ever. Whenever I needed a good interview over these past, 30 years, I know, hey, go find Bill and we'll have some fun, and it'll be, great for the show. And it certainly has been awesome for this Full Throttle powered by RP that we're so excited about. And to have you on here in one of our first shows has been absolutely just phenomenal, Bill. Can't thank you enough. And of course, wish you all the best for the next, 61, 65 wins.
I figure I'm at the halfway point now. So, we'll go on the other half. But thank you so much for having me on your show. I really enjoyed being here, and you're great.